As we move into the 7 o'clock hour, it's the Christian Arcand Show here, WEEI. We are live in our Brighton studios, powered by Verizon. We are Boston Sports Original, and joining us right now for a full-on takeover are a couple of fellas from the Tessie podcast, which you can hear over in the Odyssey Podcast Network. I'm talking, of course, about Gordo and Sammy. No Pat tonight, but that's he's the one who doesn't come out as much, right? Like you guys,
he's the doctor.
He's the doctor.
Yeah, he lives further away than us.
He's in the lab,
He works late.
Yeah.
Doing those type of things.
Tough life.
Anyway,
I love when you say the takeover. It makes me feel like we're taking the studio and like wrapping it in like we're like spiders wrapping it in our web.
Well, you kind of are. I mean, listen,
we're slowly invading each show. We've done it with Brad Foe. We did it with Dan this past Saturday.
There's more people from your podcast currently on the air right now than there is from this show because Joe is a double agent.
3-1.
So it's 3-2. It was 3-2.
Basically
3-1.
My priorities, you have no idea where they're lying right now.
That's true. I have no idea.
That's true. Joe's like a double agent.
Yeah. Yeah, you have no idea. You don't know who he's working for half the time.
Sketchy.
Anyway, guys, it's been quite a season so far. We're at the All-Star break right now. The All-Star games tonight. Pretty good home run derby last night, which I do want to talk about. But let's get to the Red Sox, a team that for the first 2 months of the year, I just found myself getting so frustrated with on a daily basis. Really starting to think that this great offseason that Craig Breslow had was going to all be for naught, and that they were going to blow up the team when they were 5 games under 500 not too long ago. And then all of a sudden, here they come like a bat out of hell, and all the vibes seem to be completely turned around. And now this Red Sox team has got the imagination of the city, and I think that you guys have done a great job of sort of capturing that and delivering it to the masses. As you guys are at Fenway all the time. Like I constantly am seeing footage and content from you guys down there. What's it been like for the turnaround for boots on the ground guys like you?
You know, I got to say first, I'm frustrated with myself because I remember it was early May. They lost a game against the Twins. It was a Sunday game. I think they lost that series 2-1. And it was another one-run loss, another game that they blew late. And after that game, I tweeted something along the lines of, hey, you know, this team reminds me of the Celtics, the Ime Udoka Celtics that started off the year terrible, made it to the finals. They turned around their season. Like they were losing all these frustrating games, losing overtime games, losing close games. And I said, hey, they turned it around. They were losing close games, and then they figured it out. The Red Sox can and should do the same. And then they just continued to lose and lose and lose. And at that point, I abandoned it. Like, I see what this team is. They're the kings of losing one-run games. They're the kings of throwing away winnable games. And it felt like that was who they was. I don't know what turned it around. I'm not going to say that trading Rafael Devers did that, but I wish I didn't abandon that take, because if I'd held on to that take, oh my God, that would have been the take of all takes.
You should have just said nothing and then resurfaced that take and been like, look at this. I called it. And don't say I changed my mind, because I didn't.
I could have, but you know what?
I do that all the
honest.
time. It's a big part of my show.
You know what's funny about this Red Sox team is they're pretty much exactly where we thought they'd be at the beginning of the season, but the way they got here is bizarre, because the lows were so low. You think back to that Milwaukee series where it felt like every night was a walk-off.
That was maybe the worst one.
Yeah, and then you think back to the Angels series
Also
right after the Raffy trade. They get swept by a team that you expect them to beat. And here we are, 8 games over. Looks like a playoff team, but we've been talking a lot on Play Tessie about this. The schedule coming up is terrifying. So I'm not quite in, we got this, playoffs, let's go.
Sammy.
I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. Hey, I'll never lie to you. I'm not there yet.
Neither's Joe. Joe was a big wet blanket last night.
Well,
Big
we've
time.
seen this movie before. This is kind of it's not a perfect comparison, but last year they were doing well heading into the break and then whoop, off a cliff. So let's pump the brakes a little bit. Be happy, be excited, but, not overly excited.
You're right about that, and that's something that I've been going on about a lot lately, because it was sooner in the year that last year's team got hot. They got hot like in the middle of June. It was like around June 15th, and they cruised into the deadline. Or not into the deadline, but to the All-Star break, just like this year. And I think they were 10 games over 500. And everybody was excited. I mean, it seemed like, all right, here we go. This is a team to invest in. This team's hot. They're figuring it out. The moves that were made in the offseason maybe weren't so bad, and now they're going to have a big trade deadline, and all that's going to be great. And then the Dodgers beat their ass so badly in those 3 games. And then they lost to the Rockies, and it was just, it was awful.
Oh, and then the trade deadline was a nightmare.
Yeah.
He traded a bunch of prospects for 2 relievers who did absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and Danny Jansen.
And they weren't even like, you look at the trades and for the relievers at least.
I was excited about Lucas Sims at the time.
Yeah, and Garcia had been pitching well.
Hot,
He's a veteran, like mid-3s ERA. Like, this makes sense. Nothing worked.
I was upset that James Paxton was the only starting pitcher they got.
Oh, my God.
That was pretty upsetting.
I had a generational meltdown
You
on
did.
Play Tessie about James Paxton in 2024 being the upgrade. Everyone's like, "Well, it's tough with the money and the." I did not want to hear it. That was.
I think there's a
Well,
difference.
get ready for Charlie Morton in 2025,
Yeah,
then,
like
guys.
that, we can't have that. Because I truly see a difference between this year's team and last year's team. They were running out of bodies that could legitimately start games. They needed to get a guy in the door to start games. Paxton didn't work. What did he? Did he?
8 innings and then he hurt his leg.
Yeah, he had
Did he,
one
like,
good
break
start
it?
and one bad one, and then he was done. Yeah.
It's like I don't know, something with his leg. This year, they've got the depth. Like Hunter Dobbins goes down, and okay, Richard Fitz, come on back up.
Mm-hmm.
And like they've still got Tanner Houck in the waiting. They've still got Patrick Sandoval coming back. They've still got Kyle Harrison trying to work his way into like a whole new repertoire. They don't need a body. They need a guy. That's why that Ken Rosenthal report yesterday was so weird. Because he's like, they've got number twos. They've got Giolito and Bayo. They just need another guy. No, you need a guy.
I would agree with the Charlie Morton thing if it were literally 10 years ago. I have no interest in Charlie Morton. Like you said, it's got to be a guy. And this team is extremely different from last year's team. Just the rotation alone, Crochet.
I mean, the guys go deep in games.
Don't need to explain that. Yeah, Giolito, Bayo looks like a different guy. Fitz is like the most underrated guy on this roster. Every time he goes out there, with one exception, he's been like, I don't know, good to great every single time.
Right there, Sammy, is half of the reason why I think this year is different than last year. And I said this last year too. I thought last year was different than the year before. I was wrong. But this year, I think because of what you just said, you've got a bunch of starting pitchers that get you deep in games. You've got a depth of relievers. Like there's not a reliever on the active roster right now that I'm not comfortable with when they enter a game, save for like, let's say like a 1-run lead in the 8th or 9th.
Yeah.
Everyone else, like if it's like a 3-run lead in the 7th or 8th,
You feel good.
I feel fine.
Yeah, but that 1-run lead in the 8's an important arm to have and to know.
But they have those guys. I'm just saying, like the worst guys in the bullpen maybe
I see what you
aren't
mean.
that.
Yeah.
But like you've got a couple of guys that you trust in that spot.
Is it fair to say the bullpen is kind of sort of similar to the rotation in that if you do get help, you need to get a guy who can handle the 8th or the 9th inning? It can't be a depth guy because why would you do that? You already have that in-house. Like
100 times, yes.
You need a guy. A guy.
And what's more important?
Oh, rotation.
Rotation, I agree. I think the rotation's more important, too. Mainly because the back end of the bullpen right now is the best in the league. Like, Chapman's the best closer in the league right now. And you have some setup guys who I feel pretty good about. I feel good about Whitlock. I feel good about, Wilson. I like a lot of the guys that you have there. And I feel like with, setup roles, that can be sort of a revolving door, and you just go with the hot hand and hope someone emerges. And I think that you have guys on that team that can do it. I don't know that you have another guy. Like, I don't know that Giolito is going to continue to be pitching like he's Nolan Ryan for the rest of the year.
Nor should
like,
you count on it.
Right? Yeah, and Bayo too. I mean, this is a great breakout that you're seeing here. But I'm with you on the idea of Garrett Crochet needs a legitimate running mate, and if you have that, you'll have something that is going to be just really difficult to crack in a playoff series.
Right. It's like if you've got Bayo and Giolito continue what they're doing, that's pretty much you've got 3 out of the 4 in a playoff rotation. And I agree, Sammy. Fitz is really underrated.
Yeah.
We haven't seen an extended run from him yet to the point where I trust him being that 4th guy in a playoff rotation. If he does what he's doing and he's done his whole career, like, yes.
It's a lot to put on a kid like that.
And it's a lot to, like, again, I don't see any reason why Giolito and Bayo can't keep up. I'm not saying that they're going to pitch to sub-3s the rest of the way, but there's no reason to believe they won't be quality pitchers for you, but you shouldn't count on it because they haven't been that even since the start of the season. Like, it took a while for them to get here.
Why test it if you don't need to? And also, this, like, the guys we've been talking about, Arcand, the 2 guys we've kind of narrowed it down to on Play Tessie on our wish list is Joe Ryan and Mackenzie Gore. Both of whom are going to cost a lot, like a scary amount. And if you get either of those guys, it's great for this year, but also the year after and the year after and the year after. It sets you up long term. The rotation is pretty much done. You pretty much have the rest in-house, and it'll just come up. You can make these signings here and there, add a guy here and there, but the heavy lifting, it'll be done at that point. Yeah.
That's the key. If you've got a 1 and a 2 locked in place, you're feeling pretty good about yourself. And to me, the reason I think the Red Sox can go fishing in those waters is because of the outfield surplus they have.
Yeah, and that's a big element of all this, which part of me thinks, you've got to do something. You have the pieces to make a move, but also part of me thinks this team's playing the best it's played all year. This is the best stretch that we've seen. And the previous time that they were playing good baseball, they traded Rafael Devers right in the middle of it, and then they went in the tank for about 2 weeks, and now they're finally playing well again. Do you want to disrupt that again? Do you want to? I know that like the All-Star break may already be doing that, but like, do you want to in that room again remove someone who is really contributing lately?
I mean, it's a legitimate risk.
Yeah.
You don't want to mess with the clubhouse. We just heard the Crochet quote of how they're so into winning. It's not a me thing. You know, these guys like Crochet who make a lot of money they seem like leaders, good teammates. So yeah, it's a legit concern. You don't want to mess up the clubhouse, but sometimes the guys have to realize it's a business. This team has a surplus in the outfield, like Gordo said, and they have other needs. So
the vibes are high when you're on a 10-game win streak.
The thing also, too, like you talk about disrupting the vibe of the clubhouse. They've had Yoshida back in this mix, which created this surplus for what, a week?
Yeah, about a week.
About a week.
A little more.
So, yeah, trading a guy, that could cause a little bit of a wave, a little bit of a ripple. But you know what else could is benching guys routinely that deserve to be starting every single day, at least against righties in Major League Baseball. Like, none of these guys deserve to sit these games.
Duran or Abreu?
To trade?
Yeah.
I would trade Duran.
Who do you think is going to get more love? Obviously, we know the Padres love Duran, but Abreu's younger and a Gold Glover, and he does more home runs this year than Duran does. So
I think Abreu. If I were another team, I'd probably rather trade for Wilyer Abreu.
I mean, I actually don't even think it's close. I think Wilyer gets you quite a bit more. But the thing is, I don't want the Red Sox to trade Wilyer Abreu because that's a guy I could see being part of the team for the next 5-6 years. He's like he's 24, 25. He's very young, super talented. Fenway right field is the toughest right field in the world. He handles it beautifully. Gold Glover. Don't really want to move him. Plus, like you said, Gordo, the pop, very important. But Duran, it's not like he's not going to bring back anything. And it seems like San Diego's really into him. So maybe that's a trade partner, probably a 3-team trade if you're going that direction. But yeah, I think Duran's probably due to age, contract, production.
Well, that's it right there.
Probably the odd man out.
Look at the age and how you expect a guy with his profile to age versus Wilyer's age, which 26, and you expect him to age a lot more gracefully because of his style of play. Like he's not a guy whose game is predicated on speed. Like he plays good defense, but it's not because of his like blazing speed or anything like that. No, he has a good swing, a swing that should age. Like he has a swing. I don't want to call it like a Devers-like swing, but the reason the Red Sox chose Devers to be the guy that they invested in originally is because, like that swing is something we can see aging well. And Willie, like a guy with his swing path and just the mechanics of it, the power, the body, I don't see him being a guy that flames out like at 29 or 30. Like he could be your right fielder for years to come.
And he's hitting left-handed pitching a little bit now too, which was the big knock on him. Yeah, and this is not, when we talk about this, it's not like we're saying we don't like Jarren Duran. He has no value on this Red Sox team. Get rid of him. It's just it's harsh, man. This is a harsh industry. Like, look, the Devers trade. It's the best example of it. Oh, you're not complying with the way we want everyone to operate. See ya.
What would you
Enjoy
do,
the West Coast?
Which one?
I would probably, since you're getting more, it seems like bites on Duran, and the Padres do have some pieces that I think you have to take a good long look at if you want to improve either your rotation or maybe your bullpen too. I think there's some good arms in that Padres pitching staff. But for me, it's more about, is Rafaela going to keep this up? Is that something you can count on? I think we all agree Roman Anthony's not going anywhere, but Ceddanne Rafaela, this resurgence that we've seen here in the last month or so, is that something that you believe in? Do you believe Aroldis Chapman is going to continue to pitch this well for the rest of the year? All the good things that have been happening so far this year have been great, obviously, and Abreu's one of them. He was carrying this offense for the first month plus of the year, him and Christian Campbell, which is kind of funny to say now, but that was it. That was the only guys hitting in April, and at various points he's had to shoulder the entire load of this offense. So I think that when it comes to the deadline, you're in a pretty good position here. You're in a pretty good position where you don't have to do anything. You should do something. You don't have to do anything. You're playing well right now. Core is mixing and managing this roster pretty well without having like a dedicated 1 through 9 and all these platoons and everything like that. And I feel better about them being in that kind of position where they know they have good things to trade, and they know that they have teams out there that really need help in the outfield, and they get to be sort of proactive from a position of a seller and a strong seller. So I would lean Duran, but I'm very interested in seeing how Breslow handles this because last year's trade deadline was a disaster, as you pointed out.
Yeah, I mean, if I were Breslow, and luckily I'm not, but if I were Breslow, I would operate under the assumption that Cedon Rafaela is not going to be a 800 OPS guy all year long. You can count on the defense,
right,
but you don't want to rely on the offense. I don't think you can count on Abraham Toro being an 800 OPS guy all year long either. I don't think you can count on Chapman being the best or second best closer in Major League Baseball all year long.
He hasn't had a year like this since like 2016. Like this is way, way better than anything he's done in the last decade.
Walk rate is by far the lowest it's ever been. But yeah, so I would like for Craig Breslow to operate as if these guys are going to hit a rut, because I think odds are they will. But why take that risk? And if you add offensively, I mean, this is just speak for myself. I think it's obvious you got to add a first baseman.
Yes,
a left-handed hitting first baseman. I think Ryan O'Hearn is pretty much perfect at this point for the Red Sox. You have Romy hit against the righties, O'Hearn hit against the lefties. Going to be other way around. Romy against the lefties, O'Hearn against the righties. It's a great platoon situation. They won the World Series in 2018 with a great first base platoon. I think that's a no-brainer offensively. But
another option would be to have Romy platoon with Meyer at second, get an everyday first baseman. As for Toro, a guy, Sammy, you just said can't count on him continuing what he's done. Last 25 games, he's hitting 205 with a 528 OPS.
There you go.
So, getting a guy at first base is something the Red Sox should prioritize. Like, guys, you talked about another one who you could reasonably expect to cool off is Trevor Story, who started off the season for a little bit cold and then got super hot and then got horrendously cold.
Antarctica cold for a month. Like, we were on the verge of saying pull the plug on Trevor. So that was a scary
it was a topic of conversation. It was like, do you DFA or do you bench? Like, that was the conversation. There was not like do you leave him in there?
Yeah.
And then Bregman got hurt and it changed things.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a lot of guys having great stretches. They're having really good full seasons, but it's a lot of the last month and a half they've been doing this, but it's not something they've done for the whole season or for the last 2 years or in some cases their whole careers.
Yeah, we also kind of a little bit buried the lead with the offense. We can't hope that Roman Anthony, who's 21 years old, and Marcelo Meyer keep carrying a lot of the load either. That's just completely unfair to them. They could do it, and I'm sure they don't mind. Like, if they were here, they'd say, oh, we don't mind.
They're not here. They're in Nantucket right now with the clown car of women, if you saw that video.
I think they'd rather be here with us.
Probably. Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, I'd rather be here with you guys. I mean, I don't know.
We got
much
AC,
cooler,
air conditioning
good-looking guys. Like, let's go.
Yeah. Absolutely. Do you think that, are you guys convinced that this team has made the decision to invest already at the deadline? Do you think that that's something that could maybe change over the course of these 9 games out of the break?
Well, I mean, if they go like 0-10 in their next 10 games, that could change.
What if they go 3-6?
No, I think they're still buying.
You did?
No.
Okay.
I don't. I think that Craig Breslow, if it's fringy, if they're kind of like a game or two out of a playoff spot, I don't think Craig Breslow will be able to resist the prospect return for Chapman, which makes me sick.
Oh, wow. Really?
Makes me
sick. A game or 2 out. I was about to say, I think they could be 4 out and they would still buy.
Oh, I need to see it with these
4
guys.
out of the wild card?
Yeah,
I've been hurt way too many times by this front office. I can't give them any benefit of that. I think if they're in a playoff spot, maybe 1 game is too harsh. I think if they're 2-3 games out, I think Craig Breslow will go, well, Cole Reagans was the return for Chapman, which is like the first percentile outcome that you're never going to get. Yeah, I hate it too.
If the Royals offered you Cole Reagans for Chapman, you can take the deal.
Sure.
It's fine.
Sure.
You can be in first place. Like, I'll let you do it.
If you can literally get Cole Reagans again for Chapman, do it. But that's like the most unlikely outcome. I hate it. I would keep Chapman. I would even consider extending him. You need a good closer. Teams don't win the World Series without a strong back end of the bullpen. He's been great this year. It's pretty simple. So
8-inning games.
I don't think they're going to I'm leaning towards buy right now, but I'm not sure. I'm not close to being sure yet.
He is so harmed.
Yes, I know. You can tell. He's like a
You're
kitten.
Damaged, man.
Like a kitten that was abused and now won't come
He's got PTSD,
in
man.
the kitchen anymore.
I've
That's
seen it
basically
all.
what it is. Yeah.
I've seen it all.
That is the voice of Sammy
All
and
the way back
Gordo
to the
from
60s.
the Play Tessie podcast. They'll be with me for this entire hour here. I see the phone calls lighting up.